Well, saving the worst for last, because I don't care your politics, it's a sad day for this country that we have a former president who is facing the trouble that former President Donald Trump is facing. That indictment, we learned of the indictment on Thursday from the president. He put out there on social media, I've been indicted. We didn't know at the time how bad it was going to be in terms of the devastating indictment that came out and the extent to which the law was broken, as the prosecutors alleged what happened. But I was struck, you three, by the speed with which the local elected leaders representing the Mid-South could not wait to get on social media and post what their response was. So I'll start with Congressman Steve Cohen. He kept it very short and sweet. He said, at least Nixon went quietly into the night. All right? Representative David Kustoff, who represents West Tennessee and the Memphis suburbs, former federal prosecutor, I think it's worth noting, said, I am very concerned with what appears to be weaponization of the DOJ. No one is above the law. That includes President Trump, President Biden, Hunter Biden, and Hillary Clinton. President Trump deserves equal treatment. I encourage the DOJ to release details of the indictment, which they did about 2 hours after he posted that, because he waited till Friday. Then Thursday night also, our two senators, and keep in mind, very few senators have weighed in on this. They're running from the cameras, especially the Republican senators. They don't want, they're not ready to express opinion, but not the ones from Tennessee. Senator Bill Hagerty saying, this is our two-tiered justice system on full display. The Biden DOJ buries investigations of President Biden and his family while it charges his political rivals. Making America look like a banana republic is incredibly irresponsible. There's several fact errors in that, but I'm not going to get into the disinformation. Senator Marsha Blackburn, now that President Biden is reportedly involved in a $5 million bribery scheme with a foreign nation, what does the DOJ do? Attempt to interfere with congressional investigation into Biden and go after Trump instead. This is the pinnacle of two tiers of justice at work. Are you noticing a theme here? Weaponization, two tiers. She went on to say, from the time President Trump first announced his candidacy, the FBI has displayed an unprecedented vendetta against him. A few years ago, it would have been unthinkable for an attorney general to approve an FBI raid on the home of a former president. The FBI, by the way, run by a guy who was appointed by Donald Trump. I think it's worth mentioning. I'll let you start with this one. Reverend Norman, what are your thoughts about this necessity to weigh in on something like this so quickly?
It's disheartening, and it's concerning. First of all, equal application of laws is a very important theme. So whenever something happens, I think we have to be very careful how we apply a vigorous approach to the prosecution of an individual. I think I'm overwhelmed by all of this Trump information. Maybe he needs to just turn in the papers and say, look through them, let's go through it, let's get it over with and get on to his election. Now, the responses from our congressional body, from our Senate, obviously, there's a lot of red herring from the Senate end of this. They're trying to distort it by adding Hillary Clinton and Hunter Biden and President Biden into this. This is about Donald Trump, and we need to discuss it on the merit of what it's about, that particular case.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? We got about a minute left, so give me 30 seconds.
I have just one small thought, and it's about Congressman Kustoff's statement. The most important thing he said is that no one is above the law.
Agreed.
And that goes back to his years as a U.S. attorney. He respects the law. The rest is total political gibberish. But that one paraphrase tells me that David Kustoff says, let the legal system run its course.
And then he did include President Trump in his comment too, in the post, that it applies to everybody.
And Hillary.
That's been missing from some of the other comments.
No one is above the law, and that includes.
Otis?
Very briefly, yes, the indictment day on Thursday was a sad day, but you know what a Saturday was? A sadder day? The day Donald Trump got elected in 2016. That was the sad day, because people knew who this guy was. People knew the baggage that he brought in there, and he just fulfilled all of that. And then when he got defeated in 2020, this is how he reacted with the kind of conduct that we're talking about here, and the January 6th and everything else. This man has been a total stain on this country for the time that he has been in public life.
All right, I got to let it go there. By the way, we will have a former chairman of the Shelby County Republican Party on next week, and he may have a different take on that, but we'll appreciate you being here with us this week, and we'll see you next week.